Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Liliveth Tate channel. Hello, how is everybody in the world today, tonight, afternoon, in your time? So today is June 30. So in a few hours, it's end of month of June. So July, we're gonna face what's gonna happen by month of July. But anyway, guys, July is month of uh, nutrition, so I'm gonna do some live streaming that I can share some healthy food and those fruits and vegetable that we eat, that what benefits that we can intake that in our body. And of course, before we're gonna start, mega love shout out to all my members, all right, and to all my new subscribers who subscribe my channel. And hi Ryan, hello, how are you? I miss you, Ryan. So how are you doing today or tonight or afternoon in your time? And of course, to all my super chatters and to all my donators, because this is the topic that I love to share, because most of people, they don't really understand when it comes to, hi sis Amy, hello. So when it comes to super chat or donation, so some people, they don't really understand, and they deal into a big issue about that. All right, so we're gonna discuss that later, because I'm gonna share my opinion towards the super chatters or the donators. Who is this? Mas, good morning. Where are you from, Mas? Excuse me. So when it comes to weather here in the Philippines, it's so, excuse me guys, it's so nice. It's not hot. It's kind of a cool or cold, because it's rainy season here. So every day is raining, but it's not as hot last few months, or during the summer. So don't forget, guys, to drop your cities or country where you're from. Okay. Thank you so much. You guys, for those ones to have a crown, then just click the like thing. Okay. So where you from, Mas? Hello, you said. So, and we don't really want to deal with the hot season. So it's kind of cool when you go outside, even though if it's noon time or afternoon. And the reason why I mentioned about the weather here, because a lot of Western people that they hesitate to visit Philippines because of the weather. Okay. So if India, all right. Thank you so much for answering my question. So hello, people in India, and for those Western people back and forth or other part of Southeast Asia, then you're not uh, new about the weather here in the Philippines. Okay, the only thing, if it's rainy season here, it's flood. Okay, so you have to aware of what cities that you pick to stay if you're first time to visit here in the Philippines, because the flood is, some part of Metro Manila, it's very prone of flood. So I'll give you guys, the two main cities that don't, you can visit or you can stay if it's summer, because no flood. Okay, but if it's rainy season, it's kind of a danger for you and for your safety. Number one is Marikina City, and number two is Malabon City. So the reason why I mentioned Marikina, because Marikina, it's near to, it's connected Pasig River and Marikina River. So one, it's if there's heavy rain, the two big rivers, it really cross, and then that's the cause of their flood. And also the area of Marikina City, it's kind of a low compared to other cities. And number two is Malabon. Malabon is always, oh my goodness, guys, it's always, if it's rain 3 hours, you expected that, there's followed flood. Because Malabon is near to the coastal area. All right. So that's the thing, that if you can still go on that cities that I mentioned, but maybe you can go summer season, not rainy season, guys. Some other cities, it's also flood, but it's not as bad as two cities that I mentioned. All right, including my city, not so. But there's a certain area that rain. Who is this? Nabila Hanum. Where are you from? What are you talking about? What does it mean? You you type it. What does it mean? So okay, I already give a little weather forecast here in my country, Philippines. And for those not yet part of my LTC, feel free, guys. Okay, no need to force you. All I need to do, just invite you guys. So it's up to you if you want to join or not. And same thing also for those who wants to send donation or super chat. Okay, so we're gonna discuss that later on. And for those who wants to ask question, feel free, as long as the question that you asked is related on the subject that we're gonna discuss, or I'm gonna discuss, or we're gonna talk. Okay, I would love to hear that questions from you guys. And don't hesitate to share your opinion, ideas. Okay, all you have to do, just respect others opinion, and no need to say a bad thing. In this is, I always said that if you can't say a good thing, all you have to do, just close your mouth. All right, so today it really triggers me to talk about the super chat, because some people, it doesn't really matter where you're from, but this is what I hear from other people. They make into a big issue. Here's my opinion, or here's my thought process when it comes to super chat. A lot of us, particularly those content creator, they're not really honest. Okay, some majority are not honest. Some people, they just have a channel just to make memories of things that they've done in their life, like memories when they go travel. But the rest of people, they just make it to a business. And some people, they don't consider YouTube is a business, but me, I consider YouTube is a business. And why I consider that? Because you have no reason to put all the things on your YouTube description section, PayPal, Gcash, buy me a coffee, or any kind of funds. Okay, so meaning that you're expected somebody send you. There's nothing wrong about that. Okay, because I also consider YouTube is my side hustle business. But don't, some people, they just like I said, that they make it into their uh, memories or like when they, when they travel or what. Some people are like that, but in the other hand, they make it into a business. Okay, so people, they react about those sending donation like uh 0.99 cents or any amount. Those people are greed. Okay, because that's why there's super chat, guys. You cannot demand, or or donation. You cannot demand. There's a certain bracket there that you have to click and send it. Okay, because that's what a person wants to donate. That came from their heart. It doesn't really matter the amount. It matters the thoughts. Okay, and some people, they just comment that a cheap, or it's just like if somebody send more than that, they think that it's a bribery. I don't really understand, because for me, I also send donation to other YouTube channel that I look at. I like their channel, and when I go to their channel, that I learn something from new, from their from their viewers, and also from their channel, and I send it. I don't send money, or I don't share my money to those people that I send super chat for asking in return. I'm not, because that's 100% came from my heart. Okay, so that's the reason why if somebody send me a donation, I also share that with people. I'm not I'm not selfish, I'm not greed. And one thing that don't hurt, guys, or this is my my honest opinion about those people that they complain about super chat, and those people send 1.9 cents are cheap or what. And some people, when they send that, they happy to hear that somebody sent 1.99 cents. Of course, because they're happy, because that money that people sent to them is came from their heart. Okay, they did not ask and force them to send it. That person sent it to them is came from their heart. Okay, and for those people that send bigger than that, is none of your business. Okay, is none of your business, because it's not your money that they given to a content creator. Okay, so that's one thing that I don't really understand. People mentality, are they get jealous or what? Okay, no, no, don't worry. It's okay, I understand, Sis Amy. So I don't really get it, the points that why they have to make a issue for those people receive super chat, or some people receive donation. And this is this is the thing that people react such an unreasonable reason, are those people that they never send donation, they never send a super chat. So like I said, that if you cannot say good to other people, you better close your mouth. And especially when it comes to super chat or donation, don't think like it's just like a cheap uh, donation, or it's just like a bribery kind of donation. No, it's not, because some people, they not appreciate the content, but they appreciate the people. Okay, they appreciate the woman or the man, because they are good looking, they are sexy, they have uh handsome look or pretty face. That's one thing. And some, they just send donation because they like the way that the person think, though they send that donation because they like how people look the situation, how this person deliver the issue or the subject. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Sis Amy. So now, it's not, it's not a cheap thing. Somebody sent 99 cents. All right? It's better than nothing. Okay? Because some people, oh, they just want, to do the YouTube thing that, some are not honest. Of course, you after those people will send you a donation, but don't demand. Okay, don't demand. It's up to the super chatter how much money they're gonna send it to you. Okay, because as long as you're not asking them forcefully, go on, let them send how much money they want to send, because that money they given to you or donate, that's came from their heart. I don't really mind. Okay, I don't really mind, to accept that, as long as that came from your heart. Okay, that's voluntarily that you given to me or to other people, then accept it and be grateful, because there's a person that willing to share his or her money to you. It's another issue, guys, if somebody will ask personally. Okay, it's the other issue, but we don't really mind that, because it's that their business. Okay, it's just like I do believe the saying that mind your own business. Okay, because no matter what, she's the one or he's the one dealing with that person. If he asks money or she asks money for that, you don't have to deal with that because you did not ask. So he has to deal with that person because he's the one who asked money for that. Hi Cisco, hello, good afternoon. Good morning. No. What time? Okay, good evening. So I don't understand that, a lot of YouTube content creator, guys, this is my opinion. Be honest, okay? All of us. Okay, no, not all of us, because some people will just react to that if I gonna say all of us. Majority of us, we after those super chat guys. Okay, even those big YouTube Uncle D, of course, if nobody will send donation to him, he will not start the show. Okay, for those familiar with Uncle D, or El Guapo or Richie Mac, they're honest that of course they need money. Okay, because having a channel is not easy. Also, of course, you have to pay your internet, so you don't have to tell to your subscribers or followers that, but they have to understand also that you going to make money on your show. That's why some they love people to send donation, because they appreciate how this person look or how this person dealing with the issue. So, and this is one thing, guys, that I don't know. I'm just outspoken about those people that they said that they are not after about the money. Yes, you are after the money, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong as long as you work fair, you work isn't. It's not, it's not bad, to receive some donation from other people because they appreciate you. Or like I said, if they know, if they not appreciate your issue, or the way you think, personally they like you because you have a good looking. They like you about your personality. They like you about your smile. And same thing with the men, they're sweet, they're gentlemen, or they have a good looking face. Because there's so many factors that a man or a woman can send donation, but usually men always send donation. Just a few, just a few women send donation, because I experienced that literally in my channel, that majority of my super chatter, my donator is men. Just a few, just a few women send donation for me. It's not as big as what men send a donation to me. Okay, because when it comes to women, guys, it's just like, it's a big competition. Okay, I don't mind, actually I'm glad that somebody sent big amount of donation to some other channel. Okay, because that's a big help, so that they can able, to get their salary every month. So don't criticize. If your criticism is not really good, then don't criticize. Okay, because I understand that some people, they a YouTube thing, it's part of their uh, bread and butter. Okay, and especially for those single dad, single mom. Okay, it's not as big as what they expect, but they really after the money that their followers send it to them. Okay, so don't shown or don't comment for those people accept and happy that they receive that. Okay, because like I said, it's not the amount that they receive, it's the thoughts. Okay, just like somebody will give you a gift, some people, they just complain, oh, if it's not, if it's not Louis Vuitton, if it's not Gucci, I will not receive. And they there's a lot of, there's a lot of comments that they say, but no, you don't have to say that. It doesn't really matter if that's a luxurious brand or market price. It's not. You must be grateful because there's one person that remembered you and willing to spend her or his money to give that to you. So appreciate. Okay, appreciate that thing. And through my observation, these people are too much talking about those people that they're happy once they send 0.99 cents or bigger amount of the super chat. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Those people so much comment about that negative comment for those people that appreciate those super chatters or donators. They're the one, who comment that. They're the one never send donation. Okay, never send donation. So don't stop people share their blessing to others. Okay, don't drop a bad comment for those people that happy that they got donation. Okay, because you never know what is their life status. Okay, as long as they doing right, they doing fair, don't ever comment. So don't ever comment such a negative comment about those uh, super chatters or super donators. On the other hand, actually, the main thing of those people, why they create a channel, because of money. Okay, if you will not accept that on yourself, that that's the reason why you create money, majority of people, why they create YouTube, because of the money. But it's not as brutal that they ask personally. No, it's not. Magandang yes, good morning to you, MP. And what time is it? Good evening. Magandang gabi sa iyo, kapatid. So that's one thing that I want to share, guys. There's nothing wrong to receive money from those, people who heartedly give, heartedly given. If somebody's doing that outcome, don't make that some issue, guys, because it's none of your business. I do believe that mind your own business, kalot your own arikis. What does it mean, guys? For those Western people don't understand what I mean, kalot your own arikis. Arikis mean acne. Mind your own business, scratch your own acne. That's Tagalog uh, expression for those people that uh, don't want to mind your business. Okay? Mind your own business, kalot your own arikes. 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 Arikes means acne. So that's the good thing, guys. That's the advantage, guys, if you learn a lot of dialects or if you learn more than one language. Okay? And how are you, my dear brother MP? How is your night? How is your weekend? Actually, here it's Monday. Okay, so after this, guys, I'm gonna clean my car. I'm gonna clean my car because very good. Oh, good to hear that you're good. Okay. Actually, last night I want to do a live streaming. I don't know. I feel not really good because just yesterday I feel that I got colds. I keep sneezing and sneezing. So I just rest, but I cannot really sleep. Actually, I do, my live streaming 12 midnight. So, yeah. So after this, because I already got my towel, my towel for my car. Because I did not cover, and also the jigsaw, because I want to wash that both. So Frank order, my God, I told him, you don't have to buy, the washer pressure. I can carry the bucket and get water. But he said, we need to clean under the car, because sometimes it's raining, all the mud there, it's stuck on that. So we need to clean that before we're gonna cover, the car. And I also got the towels, because one for him. I no no no. we have, I bought three, the big one. So one for him and one for me, because I told him it's okay, this is my car, so it's my responsibility, to clean. But he always, give hands to me. And then I told him, it's okay, I can able to do this, don't worry. Just I'll call your name if I need your help. That's the way I am, guys. If I need, if I can able to do by myself, I don't really ask help, guys. The only thing, if I ask him, okay, if I cannot reach things on the cabinet, so that's the time. But as much as I can, I think that's the thing that, we train, we trained my parents when I was, when I was a kid. If you, do something, use your brain, if you cannot really, if you cannot really able to do that for yourself, then that's the time you can ask help. Don't rely on to other people for help. So that, if you keep doing that, guys, for yourself, asking help, but you never try, you become weaker, you become weak and weaker. Okay, so I understand, when I was, when I was kid, I'm the one who always complained about my parents, because why I don't do, I cannot reach that, I don't know how. So especially my dad always, always tell us, use your brain. And then, as a kid, I'm always, I also tell to my, I also use my brain, dad. But I don't really understand what he really means, when you kid. But when you get older, that's, you have to, use your brain. And it's not easy when when you think that's right away. You have to think deeply so that you can understand the solution. So yeah, so after this, I'm gonna, cause both, the water pressure, I do, what do you call that? Washer pressure, the portable, and then, well, and also shampoo. My goodness, And then I told her, just only, the dishwashing liquid. And then he said, you have to use car shampoo. My goodness, car shampoo. And then, the spray, wax. But he really wants me to, he's looking, when we went to Ace Hardware, and he's looking for, the one that, I don't know what do you call that, guys, the one that, especially for those men that, you know um, when you spray that on the tire so that the tire look new. That's the only one that we don't have that. So I'm gonna wash the car, because here, it's very strict, guys, in my place. But we're gonna bring the car outside there, in the, but it's still part of my place, but not here in the, because we're here in the building, outside the building, so that the water will gonna wash the car. It will not spread on the parking slot. MP, he's sleeping because he sleep late. Okay, your brother, Mr. Frank, is sleep late. He loves to watch what's going on there in the States. And then when I get up, that's the time that, he go to bed and sleep. So he sleep. But don't worry, I will tell him when he woke up. So that's, that's my, my chore later. And of course, I will wash also, his bike. I don't know, sometimes, it's just like, every time he'd do something in the car before on the bike, I always go with him, I just want to learn also. But sometimes, he says that I have to, because he cannot really concentrate, because I ask, and sometimes guys, I cannot really stop myself, asking him, so do you need help? And maybe the reason why he wants to be alone when he needs to fix something, because I distract him with his concentration. So I love also to learn, and maybe one day I want to know how to replace the tire. Because I remember my dad told us, if you know how to drive the car, you must learn also to know the basic thing, how to fix the car. Number one, the tire. So I don't know what time he's gonna wake up, but he's still in a deep sleep. So that's why my voice is not too loud. Not too loud. So I'm here in the kitchen, in the dining area. I also thinking that, well, yeah, that's month of July. I can share some good recipes and fruits and vegetable that you can able to eat, and for those have diabetes or something, if you have high blood, what vegetable that you can able to eat, that like for those diabetic guys. So maybe I can talk that month of July, because month of July here in the Philippines is uh, nutrition month. Okay, and then month of August, MP, huh? August is not my birthday. So month of August is we call that in Tagalog Buwan ng Wika. So we celebrate National Language Month. So I might speak more on Tagalog, because that's Filipino, that I remember what the saying of our national hero, Jose Rizal: ang hindi marunong lumingon sa pinanggalingan ay daig pa ang malangsang isda, or what in the other term is, if you can't speak your own dialect, you're just smelly as rotten fish. That's what he said. So I try, actually guys, Tagalog is not my mother tongue. Okay, I'm from Visayas region. But in school, that's from start kindergarten, high school, in college, two languages that we use: Tagalog, that's Filipino language, and American English. My English, I learned this from American English. Okay. And I don't understand, because some people, I try, some Filipino, they said Filipino is the language. No, they have to correct that, guys, because some Western people also, they confuse what Filipino language is. They think Filipino, and then I always correct that, guys, that for those Western people, uh, the Filipino language, the Philippines, our language, I mean, is Tagalog. Okay, it's not Filipino, guys. We Filipino. Okay, the name of our language is Tagalog. Okay, and then you have to pronounce that Tagalog, not Tagalog. Okay, But it's okay, so for me, I give consideration for those Western people that they can't really speak as what we speak. But that's the correct pronunciation, Tagalog, not Tagalog. And the national language of Philippines is Tagalog. We Filipino people living in born in the Philippines are Filipino, but is not people in general Filipino, but there's a two criteria, or there's two definition. Filipino, it belongs to male, and Tagalog, Pinoy. If it's Filipina, it belong, we call, it's referred to female Filipino. Okay? And we call that Pinay. So for those Western people, there's another Filipino term for Philippines. Pilipinas, and then for slang word, they just cut off, Pinas. Okay? So if you heard Pilipinas or Pinas, that's Philippines. In Tagalog, Philippines, and then Pilipinas, P, not F. Pilipinas, and then the the slang word Pinas. Okay? And then for those sometimes you confuse, why is it Pinoy? Are you Pinoy? Pinoy means Filipino male. And sometimes people, they just use that, Pinoy, they can use that to male or female, but in to and the correct usage is Pinoy. It's really belong, it refers to male Filipino, and then Pinay refers to female Pinoy, female Filipino. Okay? And for those people that has a as a girlfriend, or boyfriend or wife or husband, a teacher, they really understand what I'm really trying to explain. And one thing, there's so many words that I can share with you guys, Tagalog. So maybe I'm gonna share that month of August, because like I said, that we celebrate um Buwanang Wika, or nas- na- um, National Language Month. So I have to speak Tagalog. I'm fluent in Tagalog, and I'm fluent also my mother tongue. But some people, they can't speak my mother tongue. Okay, because that's my mother tongue. So some, part of Iloilo, and then Negros Occidental, that's where I came from. We're the same dialect, Hiligaynon. But the tone of voice, they really recognize me if I'm in Negros Occidental, because we speak very slow. Guys, you notice that I speak so slow. And I noticed that about myself. I talk slow because my dad, oh my goodness, that's in Tagalog, that they said malambing magsalita. So my dad also, he talks so slow, and it makes me laugh, because during that time, that they're still here in on earth, every time that, because we have family gathering every week, and all my nieces, my nephews, and when I was teenager, so after we eat dinner, my dad loved to tell about the story about during the World War II, when he was young. And then because my grandpa was a policeman in, that's the equivalent now. So during the World War II, I forgot what's the term. He's a guerrilla. Guerrilla? Not gorilla. Not gorilla, huh? Not gorilla. It's a gorilla. So one day, guys, I will share with you guys. So I just want to contact my cousin, because my grandpa, guys, he's good looking man. He's tall, dark, and handsome. Most of Filipino women, that's their ideal man, tall, dark, and handsome. So I'm gonna send that. I will ask my cousin, to take the picture of my grandpa. He was young that time, but I'm not yet born that time, because before the World War II. No, no, no. I think after the World War II, because that time that he's coming here from Negros to Manila, always visit the Malacanang Palace, and always meeting with the President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. And then that time, that when I was a kid, because he has a picture on the wall, because every November we celebrate American Thanksgiving, guys. Literally, what's the date in the state? That's how my grandpa, celebrate. We celebrate American Thanksgiving. So when he died or when he passed away, we stopped. Okay. And I said, who's that? And then my mom and my dad told me, that's the President Ferdinand Marcos. So I'm so proud of my grandpa. Very smart man, very smart. And that's the thing that I will share that, guys. You can see that how good looking my my grandpa. I'm not lift up my chair, but that's the truth, guys. He's a good looking man. So it's just like combination, because Filipino, our bloodline, it's mixed. Okay, you can really see on his face that there's a Spanish blood. Okay, but he's not as lighter skin. Not dark brown. Okay, dark brown. He's good looking. And then they said that my dad, but my dad, I still have picture of my dad, but during his early 70s. No, no, wait. Yeah, early 70s. My dad passed away 71. And they said that he's the resemblance of my grandpa or my lolo. And they said and they said that, I don't know, that I'm the resemblance of my dad. Oh my goodness. Because in my family, because I'm gonna say this again, we're 9. Okay, we're 9 girls, no boy. Okay, the only man in the house is my dad. So I'm the 7th child. So I have 2 younger sisters. And okay, 9 daughters, only 2 got my dad's height. So I'm not a short, my height is 5'4", 5'5". I'm taller compared to regular Filipina, okay? In my family, I'm the second taller. I am the second, yeah, because my big sister, the third big sister, imagine, she's I think 5'7", and me 5'4" or 5'5". I'm not sure which one, okay? And the rest of my sister, they are not tall as me and my third big sister. They just got my mom's height. A Filipino. My mom, I think my mom is 5 only. 5 feet tall. And my dad is 5'10" or 5'11". Compared to Filipino height, my dad is tall. Okay. And my mom, she has a lighter skin. She has a lighter skin, brown hair, hazel brown eyes, very mestiza. And me, I'm not. I'm not very mestiza. My skin color type is in between of I'm not dark, I'm not light, in between. See, this is my real color, guys. So in France said, you're not dark, you're high yellow, but in my family I'm dark. That's why they call me negra. So that's the story of my family, guys. So I just so there's a certain things that it always remind me of my parents when it comes to dealing with dealing in life. We learned a lot from them. Okay, so they teach us how to be independent. Okay, always use our brain. And there's nothing wrong to ask help, but you have to do first for yourself before you ask help. So don't rely on for those people that you never try, and then it's easy for you to ask help. Okay? So we learned that we we learn just like in mathematics, guys. If you don't know the like if in high school the algebra, trigonometric, so you have to know the formula first before you solve the problem, the formula or the equation. Same thing in life. For me, I consider our life, how to deal life, is just like mathematics, guys. My face starts to itchy. So I learn a lot. And of course, that's a big thing also, guys, that if you pick the man or if you pick the woman that that share some knowledge to you, you learn. Because like Frank, he always shares some knowledge towards me, teach me how to handle life. And sometimes some people, they question me that they don't really get what I'm really trying to voice out, because I'm not really as good as how to explain that in English. I have a hard time sometimes. I have nose bleeding for that, because sometimes I'm running out of English. So sometimes they question my intellectual for that. And I don't really care. Okay? If you cannot really, if you cannot really understand what I'm really trying to explain, then that's your problem. It's not my problem. So in life, I never limit myself to deal with people that I know to myself that they are good people, because every person that you meet, you learn. Every person that you talk or dealing with, there's a certain words of wisdom that you never heard, or there's a certain ideas that's the only person that share with you. So I never limit myself. But sometimes if I know the person that is not really real, I don't really want to communicate. But the person that willing to learn, willing to listen, and value me, I also accommodating to them. All right. Sometimes, they say that you cannot really trust other people, but for me, yes, a lot of us will say that, but you have to give them a chance before you say that, because I'm the type of person that I believe of chances. How can you, how will you know a person if you don't give that person a chance to know you, or you don't give yourself to know that person? Okay, so always give a chance. So it's up to them, it's up to them. If that chance that you given to them, if they take for granted or they don't value, then it's their loss, not you loss. Okay. And I wish that in a few days I'm gonna finish this. Okay, so this is the book that I read. So this is the one that, this is the remaining pages, a few pages. It's almost to the end of the, and the diagram, how you deal with your money. My goodness. And Frank told me that you better finish that, because that's very important in life. Everything is here. How to deal life. Okay? Don't read, I told him I want to read, the book that man from man from man from Mars, or I don't know. Sounds like that. Women from Venus. Then you better finish that. Okay, better finish that, because this book, you will learn especially how to deal with your money. Okay, my goodness. Because sometimes I bought this 2000 2002, or starts to become normal here during the pandemic. And I just, when I read just 2 or 3 pages, I stop. So it takes a month to go back. But it's always there in my brain. And then he said, "Did you finish the book?" And then I told him, "No." And then he said, "Why?" Oh my goodness. Why? He said, "Why? How many years is that?" So, well, I told him, I'm just gonna read that if I'm in the mood. Ay, nako. But I learned this, guys. I learned this reading this book. That's the reason why I learned this from book. The difference between the assets and liabilities. Okay. Is the house is assets or liabilities? Is the apartment is assets or liabilities? I learned this also, this book, that don't overspend, don't overspend your budget, or don't, just stay on your below budget. And always, it's so hard, guys, because we people, we work for money. Okay, we work for money so that we can have money. And the book says here, it's kind of a, it's kind of a hard thing, to, at first I don't really understand what he, Robert said that, we people program to work with money. Instead, money will work for us. Oh, that's a good, that's a good thing that he said. So we people must learn how to work money for us, not us work for money. Or in the other hand, how to make money with your money. My goodness. So Frank really wants me to finish this. But yeah, I will finish this maybe end of July. Guys, because I'm not really into the reading book, my goodness. If I like the story, yeah, yes, I will not stop that until my eyes get drained. Okay. But if I'm not really interested about that, I'm not. Because one thing, guys, that I hate numbers. But I realized that no, I don't have to be hated the numbers, because in life we always use numbers. So yes, let's be kind to one another. Be uh, be mindful. Okay, so because I already reached the 1 hour, so this is my last word. Last word before I gonna end this. And for me, I have nothing against with those people that send donation or super chat, and for those people that they send a small, it doesn't really matter, guys. Okay, it doesn't really matters as long as that's heartedly given to you. Then you must be grateful, because not all people share their money to others. Okay, so meaning that the person is not selfish, is not greed, because he's still able to share that money to you. And then for those people that make a issue about that people that receive some small amount, just I will tell you this, guys. It's not the amount, it's the thoughts. Okay, always remember that no matter what is, if it's not money or material things, it's not the amount, it's not the worth. Okay, it's the thoughts. All right. And be grateful, guys. Be grateful if somebody remember and give you some. Be grateful. Okay, don't be so snobby, or don't be so, what do you call that, uh, narcissistic. 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 No, be grateful. Okay, and don't expect too much, guys. That's one thing that, wait a minute, most of us, they expected too much. Like, well, in YouTube, guys, you cannot stay on that every week or every day somebody will send you a big amount. No, don't expect. If there is, then fine. If there's none, it's fine. Don't expect, because if you expect too much, it hurts. It's especially if it's not calm, or if it's not coming. So, and then for those people that make a issue, for those people that wants to share their blessing, if you cannot say good, then you better close your mouth or zip your mouth for that. Okay, it's just like the thing that when I was as a I grown with we very disciplined. My parents, my grandma are very disciplined. they they teach us to grow like uh what do you call that, a real woman. We don't really act like a man. Okay, we don't. I don't know. Some other, they act like a man. My parents, my grandparents train us to act like a woman. Okay, not act like a man. Okay, so I we learned that from until now, we really act like a woman. We don't act like a woman that, we're, we don't act like a man, and we are women. No, we don't. So I learned that from my parents that don't be mean, okay? And that's one thing that I learned from my parents, that, and I also hear this from Frank, if you cannot say good to your people, if you cannot say good to other people, then close your mouth. Because if you're gonna say that, if it's not good, that's another issue. Okay, that's another issue, or might end up to fight. Okay. And you remember, Sis Amy, that I was questioned and explained what Dave's told me, that I hates him. No, I don't. I don't hate him, but it's just like that's the way that he look at me. So I start not to like him. And sometimes people are so judgmental without knowing, without knowing the side of a person. It's easy for them, to judge. No, we cannot really do that. Change the mindset. Don't. Because it's just like you don't respect her opinion, you don't respect his opinion, if easy for you to judge them. Okay. And I think that's the reason why my personality is, they said that I'm very, I have a strong personality and I'm very outspoken. Yes, I am very outspoken if I know that I'm in the right track or I'm in the right position. I have to say something to you, so that you have to change your mindset for judge people, that you misunderstanding what they really want to express. Okay. um that's all, guys. So in the other hand, don't mind other people that they really work for money, or they really want to share their money. Okay. Because meaning that that the person appreciate the person, why he has to share that money to her or to him. As simple as that. Because sometimes people, they don't like you, but some other people, they like your personality. They like, some people, they don't really like, very outspoken, very vocal and honest people. Some people, they don't really like that. Okay. But some people, they love that. Okay. And me also, I prefer to a person dealing with they said that there's they frank and honest, because the truth will hurt, but you have to learn, because sometimes we cannot see that in ourselves. Other people can notice that, so you have to listen. But there's nothing wrong, there's nothing, somebody will criticize you, but in a good way, so that you will change your uh, perspective in life, or you can change how you deal yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes we people, we just make into a big issue. Hi, Stefano. Congratulations. So we must um, we must understand the thing that, or we have to think first before we drop our words. Okay, so that there's no conflict, There's no misunderstanding or misinterpretation. Because sometimes, if you're some people, some people, they don't really look in the situation or the issue. They're not really focused on that or concentrate the issue. They focus about your personality. Okay, how does it you look? So they're gonna get upset of your look, but they don't really upset the issue. Sometimes we take it too personal. My goodness. So please change that. Erase those kind of mindset. Okay, don't take it too personal. Okay, if you want to say something towards that person, direct tell the person, don't take it to other people. Okay, so praise the Lord. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna end up this, but my last advice is just be mindful, and as long as that person, they have a good intention to help you or to give something to you, then appreciate things. Okay, you don't have to complain or what, how much is this or what. Okay, but sometimes, don't take them advantage for their kindness also. Okay, sometimes, people, uh they don't understand, especially for those people that, they have a greed mindset, and somebody open about that, they take it to advantage. Don't take that advantage, guys. Okay, because I do believe that karma well, knock your door. But those people that don't believe karma, it's your prerogative, guys. But me, I have also prerogative that I believe karma. That's why I don't really do something. Okay, so once again, for those, of course, to my dearest my dearest MP, thank you so much, Stefano, for dropping by, and of course is Amy, and who else, and the rest of the people visited. Thank you so much, guys, and have a weekdays and have a weekend to all people in the West. So see you next time. Bye.